Hello, everybody. We're all here for another episode of At the Movies.
Hey, everybody.
Here's your humble hosts, Dave and Adrianna.
Woo!
Hello. Oh, wait, wrong hand. Hello.
And we've got some guests tonight. Got
Hello.
Mr.
Wait,
Jack
wrong
Wolfe
hand. Hello.
and Tina. So
Love you, darling.
so tonight we went and saw Avengers Endgame.
For the second time,
Well, yeah, we saw it for the second time. This is your first time going to see it, correct?
Yes, my first time. Yes.
All right. And this is your first time seeing it, correct, Jack Wolfe?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. So,
Actually, Jack Wolf thinks he's still at the movie theater. He has a box of Raisinets.
yeah, I
He's
see
gone.
that. Yeah. You should have.
But
You
he's-
got. You missed
I'm not sharing.
the pre-show where basically we're trying to get the show started, and he's like unwrapping the box and making like all this plastic noise and the boxes. Like it was just
Yeah.
There
that's
will be
Jack
more.
Wolf. That's Jack Wolf for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, Adriana, why don't you give us a quick synopsis of the plot as best you can?
Well, if you haven't seen Endgame by now, shame on you.
Spoiler alerts, yes. Sorry.
I mean, come on. It's been out for like a month and a half.
Good point.
So, yeah, it's basically the next movie, the follow-up to Infinity War after the snapping.
Yeah, the snapping.
And just to sum it up, because it gets real confusing, they just go back in time and get the stones to try to fix everything. That's basically it.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Action and
well,
shenanigans ensues.
Let me dial you back for a second. So, in the beginning of the movie, you find out that Thanos used the stones to destroy the stones. So the
Right.
stones don't exist in that timeline anymore. So they basically have to go back in time and get them.
Right.
And Ant-Man is the one that helps him go back in time because he accidentally went back in time when he got stuck in the quantum realm
Mm-hmm.
at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
gonna have to catch
The
that
rest
one
of the
to see
movie
that
plays out from there.
Yeah, I don't know if we have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I don't know. We saw it though. I think you
Mhm.
went with us, didn't you?
Yeah, she went with
one. Yeah.
us.
I saw the Ant-Man one. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, basically the movie plays out from there. They get the stones, they bring everybody back, and then there's a big fight, and then Tony Stark dies.
Oh my God.
He goes all Jesus on us.
Tony Stark died?
Yeah.
Oh no.
When did that happen?
Oh, Black Widow dies.
When did that happen?
Oh
They have
Black
a Black
Widow-
Widow in there?
Yeah, not that kind of Black Widow.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they killed a lot of spiders
no. Exactly.
when he blew up their compound. Sure, there was a lot of bugs and insects that got destroyed. Now, I have a question. How is it everybody survived that explosion?
That's an excellent question.
I mean,
don't
you
know.
had the
Yeah.
Oklahoma City bombings, God rest their soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 100 people died. But the entire building gets blown up and everybody survives? Not one person dies? Or gets mortally injured?
They
That's
are
an
the
excellent
It's
Avengers.
question.
TV for
Yeah.
you.
They're the Avengers.
Yeah, but some of them are human. Like Rhodey's a human. I mean, he had the suit on, but Rocket, he's just a stupid.
He's just a raccoon.
Yeah,
He was real tiny, though.
He's just a coon.
He's a
He's
real
just-
tiny
he's just a
raccoon. He's a real tiny one.
He's just a tiny little
It
coon.
just made no sense.
Well, they didn't
There's a
kill
lot
them
of-
all probably because they're going to come out with another one.
Oh,
You know when
they
it got to
they
the
are.
part where they chopped Thanos' head off the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I started to stand up and said, "Okay, that's the end of the movie. Everybody out."
Oh wow.
But I was like, "No, don't do
Within the
that."
first 20 minutes.
Exactly. They would've
I
been
started
mad
to
at
right
you.
then and there. Okay, everybody out. End of the movie.
Roll the credits.
Okay.
I can
I
see
know.
you guys right now looking up saying,
I'm like,
"What the
wait.
heck did he say?"
I know. I
quick
thought
movie.
the movie was going to be 3 hours long, not
Right?
10 minutes.
And I would have
I
heard
paid
somebody
for 3
saying,
hours.
I know.
"Dad, sit down. Sit down. What are you doing?"
Nope, I pretend like I don't know you. I don't know that dude.
He was just ready to go after Thanos got his head chopped off because
He's seen what he wanted to
He was
see.
done with his
Yeah.
popcorn by then.
Yeah, it's true. That's probably what it was.
only had a
He
fourth
finished
left
the
of
whole
his soda,
bucket.
so he was ready to go.
He was
Now
done.
he got these raisinets, so he'll be done with this show in a minute too.
Yeah, once the Raisinets are gone, he's checking out.
Exactly.
I said I'm out of here.
Watch the movie long enough till you finish your food.
I know.
That's the way to be.
But what did you think of the movie?
I thought the movie was pretty good. Like I said, I never saw the first two. I'm gonna have to watch those, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a lot of action. I didn't fall asleep, so that was a plus.
That's a plus.
Exactly. So, and plus, with the children crying and the people standing up and walking around all the time, I couldn't even rest if I wanted to. So
It
thank
was-
God the movie was in very good, because I would have been really upset with them.
Yeah, I thought it was very distracting. I'm glad I
Yeah.
saw it ahead of time. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Definitely
makes
overall,
sense.
it was a good movie. The plot was really, so if you haven't seen the other ones, it wouldn't have been hard to catch on, because they was basically telling you everything they were going to do. So it wasn't like it was a movie where you have to keep asking, what's going on, what happened.
yeah,
So
You can
if
still
you
follow.
exactly, so if you was a real human, you would be able to understand what was going on. So it was pretty good. I liked it. I liked the action. My favorite character was the little bitty guy,
the raccoon.
yeah, and the
Rocket.
ant.
Oh,
The
Ant-Man.
Yeah, I like them too. I like them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
What did you think of it, Mr. Wolf?
I thought it was action packed. Heck yeah. I mean, come on. I like the first one a little bit better, but
Endgame.
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Endgame. Infinity War.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We watched.
I
it.
have not been drinking tonight, so don't try that.
Although
way
you
go.
wanted to get a drink before we go in the movies.
I did.
You did.
I'm
yeah.
glad I didn't, because
did.
then I would have forgot about half of the movie, and I'd have been sitting up there asking you guys, what happened?
You really would have stood
That
up after
really
you got his
happened?
head chopped off. Then it'd been like it was time to go.
Yeah, but
Right.
like,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
no.
Delusional.
You would have thought he was there for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you didn't see any other ones, I mean, the way they put it together, you'd have to know all the other ones, the Black Panther, the whole 9 yards, to actually put the pieces together. Because
Yeah, to
they're taking
understand it
all of the
fully.
pieces of all of the other puzzles, and they're throwing them all together into one puzzle. And if you don't have any of the other pieces, they wouldn't understand about Spider-Man coming back and hugging Tony Stark, and that would have been lost. But I suggest anybody go out and watch all the other
I
ones
mean, that's
before
the
they see
point.
this one.
That's why they made all the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody would go see
I
them.
will agree with both of you to an extent. You can enjoy the movie without necessarily seeing the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, the movie rewards you if you have seen the other ones, because there's little nuggets of stuff that they splice in throughout the movie that's like from the other movies. So like, for example, like all the time travel scenes are stuff from other movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's little nuggets that they try to put in there that kind of fill some of the gaps from the other movies.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because when I saw Spider-Man and Aquaman and the She-Woman, and I'm like, what in the world? Are they in the wrong movie? Is there two movies going on at once or something? Because I never knew they had nothing to do with the movie. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was waiting for Batman and Robin to pop off. I seen everybody else. I was like, wait a minute. Is Boy
Robin,
Wonder going to come
Superman.
out too? Exactly. I seen everybody else. So, yeah. So I do agree. I didn't know all of those were in previous movies. So yeah, but it was still good.
Oh yeah, you can still get something out of it. You don't necessarily have to come in there, because they do explain enough of what's happened
Mhm.
throughout the other movies to kind
Yeah.
of just basically get just a casual moviegoer in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you're both kind of right on that.
But I did get the idea that Captain Marvel, who showed up a couple of times there, it almost looked like she could beat him by herself.
Yeah, they overpowered her. for sure.
Right. It looked like she was whooping the heck out of him.
Well,
He
except
still
when he
knocked her
threw her
around.
across the freaking thing when he had the gauntlet on, he just threw her across the thing into that
Mhm.
car.
Was that the
great.
one that had all the lightning power? Ooh. Was that the one? Sorry about that. Was that
That's
the one
alright.
that had all the lightning power?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the one that was pretty much like
Oh,
Flying
yeah, she
space
was
glowing.
pretty
She
cool.
she's almost invincible. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, she was
you can
really
go to
cool.
other planet. Oh, there's like 1,000 of the planets or whatever, and they got troubles going on there.
Yeah, I just didn't
Mhm.
think it made much sense that, she's like, oh, yeah, we didn't have you guys on the rest of the planet, on the other planets, but then you leave and you're gone for like 10 years.
Well, here's a
So it
Yeah, but
major
she did say she was coming back, and she came back at the right time.
yeah, she
here's
did.
here's a plot hole with that.
Okay.
So, if you knew Thanos existed,
Mm-hmm.
clearly if she'd been on other worlds, she knew Thanos existed. Why wouldn't she have gotten involved earlier? Like, what was she
Well,
doing
yeah.
out there?
Well, 'cause she
That
didn't
was
know.
so much tougher that she had to
Are you talking about before or after Captain Marvel?
after Captain Marvel. What has she been doing out there that's so much
She's-
more
she
dangerous than
just-
Thanos, who's going to try to snap half the universe out of existence?
Well, she
And
didn't
she
know
didn't know
he
it
was
was-
going to do that.
Right.
Yes, she did. She was with the Kree in Captain Marvel. So if you saw Captain Marvel, which I know you didn't see it,
Right.
Uh-huh.
she was with the Kree, which basically were working for Thanos.
Right, but
So-
she thought they were good guys.
Yeah, but no, she didn't at the end of the movie. So
yeah, but she did. Did they mention Thanos in that movie?
I don't know that they mentioned him off the top of my head, but Ronan works for Thanos, and she
Mhm.
was attacking him at the end of Captain Marvel. So therefore, if she was attacking him, he's an ally of Thanos,
Yeah,
She
but
shoulda
may not have
known about
she
Thanos.
should have figured
But
it out
she
by
may
now.
not have known how powerful Thanos was.
And-
Or his
because-
plans.
Yeah,
Because she was really ignorant at the end of that movie. Because she just figured out who the hell she was.
point being, it's a major plot hole.
I don't know if I would say major, but
Like, if
Yeah.
you knew stuff was going on, there was a guy going out there just conquering worlds and destroying planets. Wouldn't you go out there and try to stop him if you were an
I
overpowered
agree, but I don't
space
know if I
alien?
would say that was a
Like,
major.
everybody in
Yeah.
the galaxy knew who Thanos was when you go back in the other movies. So why the heck wouldn't she?
Because she's a human, and who's gonna tell her who Thanos?
Like, what was she doing that was so important?
She's
That's what I want
she
to
was
know.
getting a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
that's
mean,
what
she's
they said.
super
was doing
powerful.
something.
She was super powerful, so it probably took him forever to cut every strand.
I remember she said there's like 1,000 planets.
And that
she
was later.
helping.
No, I'm talking about this is when she went and saved Tony Stark in deep space. This is before that.
See, I never saw that one.
That's
so
why I
don't
said it
know.
doesn't make sense. That part don't make sense.
Well, her whole character doesn't make sense.
Well, that's true. The movie didn't need her, to be honest.
No, because she
Yeah.
shows up at the end of the movie. It's
Was-
like, where the hell were you this entire
Yeah,
time?
yeah, that was the other thing too.
Everybody got a story but
What
her.
took you so long to
That's
get
true.
there from where you were at?
Right, because Tony Stark is in deep space. He said they only have 24 hours of oxygen left. So that means she obviously got them there on Earth within 24 hours.
And then two,
So where was she at the entire time?
how did she know Earth was getting attacked by Thanos when he came back? So
That's
that's
true.
the second time. How did she know to even come back and fight him?
Maybe she felt a change in the time continuum.
But she didn't feel that change when he first
or
got
maybe
the
her
stones.
maybe her past self went to her future self and said, "Hey, yo, you need to be on Earth at this exact time,
It's a plot hole.
It's
right
going
before
down.
everything happens."
It's going down. That's
You
You know what?
it's
This is
going
getting too deep for me.
It's a
okay?
plot hole. And now I'm gonna get into my plot hole that I was teasing in the car.
Yes, please. I've been patiently waiting.
All right. So in the beginning of the movie, well, actually, this is a plot hole in multiple ways. So they're talking about there's not a lot of those PIM particles, the little red crap that Ant-Man uses to shrink.
Right.
Yeah.
So plot hole number one is he goes back in time because they only have enough PIM particles for him to jump backwards once and then come back.
Right.
So it's
Right.
one round trip for each of the people.
Right.
So one thing that they did that was stupid is the plan involves Ant-Man shrinking. So he needs the PIM particles to shrink to get in there and stop Tony Stark.
Right.
So how the heck was he supposed to get back and still have particles left over? You know what I mean?
They stole some particles. Remember?
No, but they didn't steal them yet. So their
Well-
plan was stupid.
Well, what I thought too was dumb is when Black Widow was getting ready to kill herself. I was like, "Hey, get her particles.
Yeah, dummy.
Yeah,
Don't let her
use them,
jump
yeah.
off the cliff. Get her PIM particles."
Yeah, you might need them.
Yeah, you might need them because they didn't know that they were going further back at the time.
And then two, why didn't they just go back in time and get more particles? That way it gave them more chances to take a
beat
crack
Thanos.
at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Since they
Right
went back
when
in
they was
time to
back
get
there
the thing.
stealing, they only stole 4.
But
I know that's what I'm
And it
saying.
looked
though,
like there
but
was
they
more
could have
there.
went to other
it
points
was
in time
more.
and took them.
But see, and this is the complaint I had about Infinity War too. Nobody actually uses the stones for what they're supposed to be used for. Like Thanos used the stones, so he used the time stone or the reality stone, and he actually used them. Where the Avengers have it, and we just have to snap. Okay, well just use the stones to fight back. Don't just.
Yeah, instead of
That's true.
snapping Thanos out of existence, just take the individual stones apart and use them against him.
Yeah, fight him with the stones. I mean, they could have did the
What-
reality
And then Tony
stones.
Stark
Well,
didn't have to
Doctor
die.
Strange did
Well, I
use
thought
the
they were
time
supposed to
stone.
separate
Yeah,
them
Doctor
at the
Strange
end
could have used the
anyway.
time stone to push Thanos so much further in time to where he was dead.
Oh, that would
Yeah,
be good.
he could have individually.
They could have literally just stolen the time stone in the first place, took it back to where the gauntlet was, reversed the time stone, and brought all the other stones back, the original stones. They would have never had to take the other stones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it wouldn't have been a 3-hour movie.
I'm just
Good
saying
point.
that
That'd have been
Good
kind
point.
of
Here's the catcher,
dragging
though.
that out a
Here's the
long
catcher.
time just to do that one thing.
They went
Yeah.
back, stole the stones, brought them to the future, destroyed Thanos. Then they took the stones and said, well, we got to put them back in time. Well, if you put them back in time, won't Thanos still end up with them?
they
No, 'cause they
snapped him out of
snapped him out of
existence,
existence.
out of
Yeah.
all existence.
So he's
Oh,
like.
so he
That's what they
never,
meant
even when they
snapped
take
the
it
finger,
back,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
the
assuming
stone
that's what they
still
did.
goes through the series.
I'm assuming that's what happened, is that they snapped him out of complete existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once they take the stones back, they don't know what's going to happen in the future with all of the
That's
5 or 6
true.
stones.
No, they
So-
don't. They just wanted to get rid of him. But actually, one of them could become the next enemy.
Yeah, yeah. So they can open that plot hole right back up again.
Well, here's the other thing too. So, again, back to the pin particles thing.
Oh boy.
So they didn't have enough to go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So how the hell does Thanos get from the past into the future?
Yeah, because
'Cause
he
he
didn't have a
uses
He
pinpoint.
doesn't have any
Nebulas.
particles.
He uses Nebula.
Yeah, but she didn't have. She was already there, so she didn't let him in.
No. Remember when the two girls met each other? She took that part out of her head and she gave it to Thanos.
Yeah, but she jumped forward already, so she
Oh,
already
yeah,
used the
she sure
particles.
did.
She jumped back when the rest of them did to hide with the rest of them.
But
So
she
come back
hacked.
in.
She
She
hacked
did.
into the computer.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because you still need the pin particles to travel through time.
Hmm.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like, how did Thanos travel through time if he didn't have the particles? And how did if he had the particles, how did she jump back? Doesn't make
That's true.
sense.
Yeah,
It's just a
I think
glitch
that's
in the
a-
movie making. I guess they would never thought it'd be people like
They didn't
us that
think it
actually
out.
Pay attention. Exactly.
They didn't
Or-
think
or
it
really
out.
just-
I really think that there's some alcohol in that refrigerator right now.
I'm just saying that was
You
the
make
one.
valid points.
That's
which
the
is
one that
true.
bothered me the most, though.
Yeah.
Is there's no sense as to why Thanos should be able to jump forward into time.
You know what bothered
They
me?
didn't explain it
You know
at
what
all.
bothered me? It took them 21 movies to get to this point. That's what bothered me. You know how
Yeah.
much money I've spent on these
Yeah,
movies?
that's-
21
a
movies
long
to get here, and they
dragging out.
still got confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then, what was my next one? I had another plot hole, and I'm trying to remember.
He
what it
only wanted to do this show just so he can tell
Get
all
his
the
plot
plot holes.
holes.
That's the only reason
Yeah.
why he wanted to do this.
Well, you're making a valid point with the plot hole.
Yeah, what was your other
was.
one?
I'm trying to
You
remember.
didn't
now.
write it down?
No, I didn't.
Well,
There's
it'll
another
come
one.
to
there.
mind.
But-
What you got to say?
Me?
Well,
Oh, you got a mouthful of razor
Adriana,
blades.
go ahead. Tell us what your thoughts were.
I did. I said I was upset. It took me 21 movies to get to this point.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, that's a lot of money, Adriana.
It's a lot of movies.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it's a lot of money.
And a lot of time. in
a
the
lot
movie
of
theater.
my life
Yeah.
spent on this.
I think we've seen all of the movies
Figuring
too.
this
Yeah, we've
out.
seen them all.
When you probably knew the outcome on the fourth movie, maybe.
too.
And
Well,
you
yeah.
still went to see the other 17.
Good guys win. The end. That's-
exactly.
They're gonna win.
But you did make a good point. Tony Stark's death is probably unnecessary.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was upset that they never used the stones, like the Soul Stone. What does the Soul Stone do? Does it bring people back from the dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it do?
They never used
They
each
never use it.
individual stone for
Yeah.
what it was meant for.
I remember the other thing that I didn't like too. So, here's the other plot hole. So they were afraid of creating all these alternate realities, but
Mhm.
when the stone's missing, those alternate realities are already created.
Right. Right.
So it's too late. Once you take the stone out, the alternate reality is created, and they accidentally created one anyway with the one where Loki got the Tesseract and
Mhm.
left.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they've created an alternate reality there. And then when Captain America goes back in time to live in the past, That's an alternate
Yeah,
reality.
because they could have
Oh,
had
okay.
kids, and because he wasn't there. Like, that's where I'm getting confused, because he should have been there in like 2012 or whenever
Yeah.
he was thought out.
Mhm.
But if he stayed in the past, then he was never there in 2012. So actually, none of those movies should have happened.
well, no, he was there. because
He was an old
that
man.
still happened. So he still got frozen, but then he just went back in time as his
So he
older
had two
self.
people there.
Yes, there was two
Oh,
Captain
okay.
Americas.
There's two Captain Americas. So again, if he had babies
Mm-hmm.
that weren't supposed to be born,
You know, I just thought about something funny.
what?
Remember the chick that was in the was it the second Captain America, the one that was supposed to be watching him,
Mhm.
that was teased as a potential love interest? What if
Right.
that was his daughter?
Oh,
Oh wow.
gross.
The one that lived
Incest
across
in the
the
movie.
Yeah.
hallway
Yeah, the
from
one
her.
that lived across the hall. Yeah.
And he didn't know it.
Oh wow. Incest in the Marvel movies.
Only
I
Dave.
tell
Only
you.
Dave.
Yeah, right. You'd be
What
the
are
only one
these
to think of
writers
that.
thinking of?
Mhm.
He did do the nasty and the pasty.
Yeah, he's just like Philip J. Fry.
Wow.
But yeah, basically that creates an alternate universe though when you do something
There's
like
so
that.
many.
So like they basically created like 5 or 6 alternate universes, and then there's
But didn't they say once they created and straightened and they took the stones back to each one, all in alternate universes
but they
would
didn't
cease
correct-
to exist?
yeah, but they didn't correct the thing where Loki got the Tesseract.
But maybe they
back.
went back
Mhm.
before the Loki got the Tesseract, and he never got it
Yeah, but he's already gotten
because
it,
they went far
so
enough
you can't
back.
undo that.
They went far enough back where he didn't get it. This is why time travel doesn't work.
Yeah, the movie's
Yeah.
Time
time
travel
travel
never
logic
works.
isn't
In
sound.
any
Yeah.
movie, time travel never works. Except for Back to the Future. It's the only
No.
movie it works.
The one that got me, and you guys explained this once before, was when they went to nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when Guardians of the Galaxy was there and they brought him one of the stones?
Uh-huh.
And
They
he
didn't
said-
bring him the stone. The one that he got there was the one from Thor: The Dark World.
Right.
In the first Guardians of the Galaxy, they were getting ready to give him the second.
yeah, he
he
was
was
going to
gonna buy
have
the
two
second
there,
stone.
right?
Yeah, he was about to have 2.
Oh, when he want to join in? Want to let him in?
It's okay.
All right, so
You
but
said
he
let him
didn't.
in?
Yes.
No, no,
They
no.
they took it.
Oh.
I remember that.
They didn't do that
But-
because he was already
must got
Ronan
something
was
to say
already
about the
there, I
movie.
think.
But Ronan hadn't got there yet when they brought the stone. Remember, he showed up when they were leaving with the stone.
Oh, okay.
You remember because the one guy called him on used the little telephone and called him in. So yeah, he was about to have 2 of the stones right there.
Yes.
What stone did he get from the Thor and them?
It was the ether, the red stone. Was the stone that the collector had. That's where Thanos got that stone. But the stone that they had, I think, was the power stone,
Mm-hmm.
which is the purple stone.
So my question is, why was the golden stone the biggest of the stones?
The soul stone?
The soul
Yeah, the
stone?
one that's right in the middle. Why was that one bigger than the rest of the other 4?
Probably because the amount of
Or the other
sacrifice
side.
you have to do to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Because you basically got to throw something you love off the cliff.
Mm.
Oh, so that's why I was yelling when the man, when the girl
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
He opened up his hand. That was the yellow. So
Yeah.
that's the only stone you had to really kill to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody had to sacrifice their life to get. Okay.
I could see Adrianna and David there. And
Uh-huh.
they'll throw Delilah over. No, Irene over.
No.
Then-
You know what
yeah.
it'll be for me? It'll be Edie's Rocky Road. I'll be
Oh,
like,
wow.
no.
And they'll go over there and say, all right, that's good enough.
Be like, you don't want to throw your daughter over? Yeah, I mean, she's okay. But the Rocky Road, no.
No, don't take the rocky road.
My NASCAR stuff.
That'd be a good
No.
skit. No, you got to throw something else over.
Be throwing everything over. Well, what is it that you love? What is wrong with you?
Mhm.
When Alana's
love
older,
anything.
I'm going to pretend to throw
And
her off.
I know, Adrianna knows she'll say, they'll say, well, you have to throw your dad. I said, no, I love my dad. She'll take a 6-pack of beer and throw it over and I'll go
Just so
run
you
it.
can chase after me.
Says, will that do?
No,
Yeah, is that good enough?
it'd be funny. You'll be fighting with the 6-pack of beer over which one's going over the cliff, like Hawkeye. Scarlett Johansson.
Be like, what's your MGD? No.
Yeah.
You deserve to live.
Then you actually.
The
probably
one thing I
catch the
didn't
bear.
like was when she did fall over, they didn't show her face, like her, falling over, and they get a close up of her face, and They cut away.
Why do you need to see that?
They
Yeah,
should
what
have showed
difference
it.
does that
It would have been more dramatic.
It was already dramatic enough.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And
It
then
was
it's
already
just,
really sad.
You know.
Yeah, they showed a laying there with blood presumably coming out of her head.
Yeah, but they should have showed
Coming
her at
out of her
least.
head,
What
coming out of her
more-
ears, coming
What
out of her
more do you
whatever.
want?
It should have been more dramatic. And that way, you know,
Are you like a secret serial killer that we
Yeah,
don't
he
know
must have
about?
pushed somebody off the cliff.
Like
and
you
walked
want to
up in
see
the-
somebody's anguish in slow motion?
In
What is
all the
wrong with
movies.
you?
He must have
all of
strangled
the
somebody
movies.
before. Just watch the death just.
Yeah, just watch the life leave their
in
eyes.
all of the movies, they always show the person's face. Even Thanos, they showed his face before he got his head chopped off.
No, not really.
Even before he went in the dust, he was like,
Yeah, but that's not him
Damn.
falling off a cliff. They didn't show Gamora's face.
"Dadgummit, all this work I did, now I'm gonna turn into dust."
I don't think he should have been turned into dust. I think worse should have happened to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say something, but I really not.
because he's gonna come back.
I should have
I mean,
He's
like
done.
Chucky.
turned
right?
into dust,
He's
and
gonna
all of a
come
sudden he go,
back.
That's right. Chucky never dies.
Yeah, he got a new movie coming out too in a couple of months. So yeah.
Chucky never dies. You can burn him,
Just
turn
like
him to
Chucky.
ash. He come right back.
He's coming right back. He's gonna be a teenager Chucky in a new movie.
mm
So some cool
Okay.
things that they did leave kind of open for the future.
Mm-hmm.
They may have set up some other movies in there. So for those of you who don't know, the X-Men in Fox is getting ready to end with Dark Phoenix this weekend. That's the last of the Fox X-Men movies.
Mhm.
So there's been rumors going around that they basically set up the X-Men with the snap that Thanos did, because the amount of gamma radiation that was in around the planet basically could cause people to mutate, which would give them.
So then how is Scarlet Witch around when her daddy is Magneto?
It's a plot hole. Don't worry about it. They'll figure it out. I don't know how they're gonna figure it out, but it's a plot hole that they're
Here
gonna
we
have to
go.
figure out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be another one too.
But I think they're eventually gonna introduce the X-Men into the fold, because they're running out of people, to be honest. And they're probably gonna introduce the Fantastic Four soon too.
Oh,
We don't need another one.
Maybe
of
they'll do
those.
it right this time.
The Fantastic Four.
I don't
yeah,
have
put
any.
the Transformers in there too. And they could
Wasn't
be
they
of
pretty
use to
pretty
help at
bad
the
with
end.
the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, they're all bad.
What is it, like
Yeah.
3 of them?
There's been three
movies?
movies.
Four,
No,
it's
4
called
movies. There's been
Fantastic
4 movies, because
Four?
there was one in like the,
The 80s?
mid '90s, or there's early '90s.
Yeah.
It never
Four
got
movies,
released.
3 different teams.
No,
'Cause
There
the
was
first,
three-
the,
yeah,
the
3
first
different
two
teams, yeah.
did 2 movies.
yeah, and those movies stunk. And
Oh.
then the last one I heard was so bad.
They're not even gonna do a sequel to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Just
wow.
I heard
they're
that the
done.
first 2 was so bad Netflix wouldn't even pick them up.
Ooh, that is bad.
Did you hear about that? Netflix says no.
yeah, and they say yes to
Netflix
everything.
even
Yeah.
got Charlie Brown. So
Yeah,
you mean to
they
tell
got
me
Charlie
they
Brown.
not better than Charlie Brown?
Netflix
Ooh,
is
that's
like, nah,
bad.
that's okay.
That's bad.
But
Then you
You
got
don't
the
wanna
History
lose any-
Channel. That they took the History Channel on what happened to Hitler before they take that one for
Like
some
we
reason.
we don't want to
Wow.
lose any subscribers. You can keep Fantastic Four.
Oh man,
but they may have
They
set up
tried.
some future stuff
Mhm.
with that.
I'll just be glad when the superhero movie is.
It's
just
not
done.
going away anytime
it's never,
soon.
never.
It's
No,
not
it'll
going
go away. It'll go away.
I don't think so.
No.
It'll go away.
Not for a while, anyway.
Because it's starting to die down. They're losing. They're running.
Well,
through their
Captain
heroes.
Marvel's kind of killed a lot of that. With that movie was not great.
Just like Star Wars, it's gonna go away. It's
Maybe
gonna
that'll
go
be the
away, and then
regular
it'll come back
superheroes.
and like.
Star Wars, never. Disney's got Star Wars.
Oh,
that's never going.
One more thing I would have liked to have seen at the end of well, actually, it's a couple things I'd like to see in that final fight scene. So the Daredevil and the Punisher and all them are supposed to be in the same universe as the Avengers. Why weren't they in that scene? You could have just had them in for a cameo. It'd been, just some nice fan service.
Mm.
Why?
Yeah.
Where were they at? Just throw them in there. Bring in all those guys. Why not?
I don't know, man.
Well, I think I think they will have a next one, but I was kind of confused when the fight scene started because there was so many people fighting. I didn't know who was the good guys or bad guys.
Yeah, it was a jumbled up
Yeah,
mess to
so
watch.
maybe they should have a red team and a blue team, and we could see the red
Have 'em
team.
all in a uniform?
The different colors.
Yeah, well, you can because
So
the
they
good
can be
guys will
fighting.
have all the blood from the bad team spilt on them.
Well, we're black and green
That's
or
how you
something.
know.
Somewhere they can change the colors because I was
You
just
just
rooting
well,
for the
here's
fight.
the thing: when you watch a movie like that, you already know the good guys are gonna win. So it's like, okay, it don't
Yeah, I mean,
matter.
but
Unless you
some of
saw
those
Infinity
cool-
War.
And then if a bad guy, if a good guy falls, they will always zoom in on it. Here comes a good guy, he's gonna die, and they'll let you see it happen.
But
Yeah,
And it'll
I was
be
just rooting
dramatic
for the
music.
fight,
Dun,
period,
dun,
'cause I
dun,
didn't know who was
dun.
good or who was bad until they actually, like you right, showed their faces. Then I knew.
Yeah, like
But when they
like
was fighting, I didn't understand.
when Gamora went over to Thanos threw Gamora over. Oh man, it was so
Yeah.
dramatic, and it was like slow motion.
And they show her when they.
You just love to see women get thrown off
Yeah,
cliffs.
It's slow
apparently.
motion.
That's,
Beware,
Slow.
ladies. They
Right?
love the Jack Wolf show.
I'm getting a
Beware.
little concerned over there.
He loves to see distress on women's faces
Right.
as they're falling.
off a cliff.
Is the
Right
lap
off a
dance
cliff.
better when the stripper is crying?
She fell off the stage, man. I swear it wasn't me.
Wow.
Oh god. But so shit. Anybody have any? So let's go around the horn. Tina, what'd you like about the movie? Just give us one thing you liked and one thing you didn't like.
I love the fighting. I didn't like when the man at the end died because I think he should have lived.
Tony Stark. All right.
Yeah.
Calvin, give me one thing you liked and one thing you didn't like.
I like the fact that Thanos went out the way he did. He just turned into dust. I thought he was going to slice in half again and get his head cut off. So that should have been more dramatic. I didn't like the fact that they didn't throw more women off the cliffs.
Wow. Yes.
They
How
should have
many more
found.
women did you
They
want to
should
see
have
go off
found.
the
They should have
cliff?
found more cliffs.
Your
more
reputation
women.
is ruined, Jack Wolf. This done it for you.
I don't know what it is about it, man. What
You're
are they,
never getting a
scared?
date. You're never getting a date.
Women really need to step up and jump off a cliff every now and then. You know,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow.
Wow.
save the planet, girl. Come on.
So do you have any
And
daughters,
you know the
sir?
crazy thing is, the crazy thing is she was ready to go too.
So
Yes,
you know
she
what?
was. She was.
Now that you say this, I'll definitely make sure I don't go to Vormir with you.
Oh, wow.
Where? Oh, the planet.
The planet.
We're
Yeah.
not taking any trips
If
to
you ever
Vormir.
say,
What
hey,
if- what
hey, you want to go to Vormir for the weekend?
You for real, Bobby.
No.
Yeah.
And
We
he'll
show
tell
up
you, make
there.
sure you look up at me when you're falling.
You want to
Right.
throw something that you love.
Do it in slow motion.
And like I say, Adrianna be there. She'll be there with a 12-pack of Miller's Light or something. So, yeah, I got you. Oh, yeah, let me get to the edge. Okay, there it goes. What the heck?
Wow.
I need to see your anguish.
Exactly.
You gotta throw the Michelob Ultra over.
Don't worry, David get it in slow motion. He wants it in slow motion as he goes.
As the Michelob Ultra falls off, you don't see it in slow motion. The
And I'll
bottles
be
fall.
popping it up all the way down. And I can see Adrianna leaning over there because it's a long drop. She'd be saying, I bet he can drink all 12 of them before he hits
I
the
was just
bottom.
going to ask you, are you going to finish the whole 12 pack before you finally fall?
Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 7, 8, 9, 9.
Oh,
You only
almost.
made it to
Almost.
9.
Almost.
Almost.
And then that little ghost guy come over there and says, what? And he'll raise me back up or whatever. Come on.
Just to drink the
Finish
last
it up.
two.
Finish it up. I'll raise up.
Wow.
Okay,
So
the guy
dramatic.
won. Fame.
Oh,
Oh
man.
god. Where are we? Adriana, what's one good thing and one bad thing about the movie?
I guess the bad thing is Thor was a fat slob.
Okay.
I paid to see
People said
Chris
that.
Hemsworth and
People
the
said that.
12 pack, and I was
forgot about that one.
very disappointed that he was a fat slob. And the good thing is, I guess, because Captain America finally lost his virginity. I was happy about that.
Did he
Wait
now?
a minute, Captain America.
I missed that part. I missed that
He
part.
went back for his
It's
girl.
implied.
Yeah, it's implied that he's a virgin.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm just saying, though,
A
even
sex
when he
scene
went
in the
back,
Avengers
I didn't
movie?
know that he went Back.
Back for that, huh?
Yeah, you didn't see him at the end dancing with the woman and then he kisses her?
Oh, I went to the restroom.
Yeah,
Oh,
you guys
yeah,
missed
yeah,
that
yeah,
part. They
that
don't
part.
miss that part.
When he goes back in time and he hooks up with his girl from the
Yeah,
first movie.
from the first movie,
Tina.
Peggy.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I had to get out of your way.
So
I
I was
forgot about that.
happy. I was happy that Captain America finally lost his virginity. He
I
finally
gotta
got
go
his
see
cherry
it
popped.
again.
Oh,
Good
I gotta
job,
go
Captain
see it
America.
just for that scene. That's where I want to see.
Good
what
job,
he
I mean, they don't
Good
actually
job.
show them.
No, it was very graphic. You got to see penetration and everything.
Oh, wow.
X-rated.
Well, that would have been my favorite part of the movie.
They're like children leave the
Wow,
theater.
Exactly.
Yeah, they had to take all the kids
Wow.
out. That's why there were all those kids in the lobby when you
Oh
came
my
back out.
God, my goodness.
All the parents shoved them out.
Yeah, we gotta
Cover
go
the
see
kids'
that.
eyes. Cover the kids' eyes.
What about you, Dave?
My favorite part was the penetration, though.
Holy crap.
Uh,
Demon seed of hell.
no, actually, I think probably my favorite part was some of the fan service moments, like the callbacks were pretty good. I think that was fine. The fight scenes again at the end were pretty good. Like the fight scene with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man versus Thanos. That scene was really good.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. That's the biggest things. Things I didn't like, all the plot holes. Like it kind of takes you out of the movie. And Captain Marvel, I didn't like that. She didn't have to be in the movie at all. She was
Yeah.
completely unnecessary.
She was hot.
Do you mean like
What's that?
literal?
Captain Marvel
In a
was
literal
like
Is
sense?
that before
You mean like
or after her haircut?
Temperature-wise, is that what you're talking? Because I mean, she was glowing, so she probably was hot.
Yeah, like
temperature.
physically.
Exactly.
All right.
And Captain America, remember, he had America.
Yes, he does have America's ass.
He does.
have America's
Oh
ass.
wow.
That I was happy
He even
about.
looked at it and says, yeah,
That
that's
is
America's
That's
ass.
America's ass.
You know, and I'm shocked that they didn't like pat it a little bit, man, a little bit rounder when he was laying on the ground. I'm like,
You don't have
You know,
to.
I
man.
disagree. I feel like
It was
I have
perfect.
America's
Patted
ass.
it.
It was perfect, just the
should
way
have gave it a
was.
little padding or something, you know?
It's like a woman in fake boobs. Do you like fake boobs?
Sure.
Is that
Sure.
before or after the lady falls off the cliff? Because if they're fake, they might explode. So do you like them?
You make that a point. I like them before.
Okay.
Before the cliff
Before the
fall.
cliff.
Or is it as they're
Okay.
falling?
Because
you get to see 'em, like-
Yeah.
They're flopping.
Yeah. Gravity isn't there anymore.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. But they should have. Like I say, when he looked down, I was like, man, you're looking at your own ass. What the hell was that?
Wow.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
Yeah, but then again, you know, no.
You would probably do the same.
Yeah,
I'd be in the
come on,
mirror all the
Beyonce.
time. All the
Probably
time
pull
when
your
I take a
pants
shower.
down
I'm
and
like,
everything.
oh, man, check that out.
Yeah.
Beyonce, eat your butt. Oh, shoot. You ain't got nothing here.
Yeah, I did like when he was fighting himself, and he's like, "I can do this all day." He's like, "Yeah, I know."
I know. Yeah, that was a
That
good
was
point.
funny.
Yeah, because he thought he was Loki.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
he
Loki's
thought
up
he
here or
was-
whatever. No, dude, I think you're wrong.
Yeah,
Why come he didn't say something? Said, no,
He
Cap,
did
wait, it's
at
me.
the end.
and
Well,
I'm
just
sad.
like, why didn't the guy say something when that was his daddy looking at him, and he was just
He didn't
asking him
wanna-
all them weird questions?
He didn't
why
wanna-
didn't
he
just
didn't
say,
wanna
"Hey,
tell
I'm
him.
you,
He didn't
I'm
wanna
your son"?
Fuck
not
up the
supposed
time.
Yeah,
to.
he didn't want to mess it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
And usually
that had
somebody
to be
coming
kinda
back, hey,
hard.
I'm your son, you know.
That had to be kind of hard. Then
I
for
would
him
think
to
they
say,
would be
"What?"
crazy and I wouldn't believe it. Like
Yeah,
if
I'd be
Alana
like-
came
Yeah.
to me from the future and she's like, "I'm your daughter," I'm like, "Bitch, get out of here! You're not my daughter.
That's just
I have no daughters.
terrible.
Get off of my
about?
front porch."
Get out of here.
I'd be like, I got your daughter right here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go peddle them daggum cookies somewhere else.
exactly. Go sell your
Wow.
magazine someplace else. But all in all, it was a good movie.
Yes,
I
it
had a
was.
good time tonight.
Yeah, it was
rated
fun.
Like an 8. It was really good. I liked it.
Yeah.
All right,
Really
so
glad I got a chance to see it.
so I guess this is the time of the show where we give our star rating. So we do it on a 1 to 5 scale.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can do halves and stuff too. So I guess we'll start. You want to start, Adriana?
Yeah, I'll give it about a 4.
Okay, 4 stars.
It would have got 5 if they had more beefcake.
All right.
More beefcakes.
All right, Jack Wolf, what's your rating?
I'm going to give it a 5. I'm gonna
5?
give it a 5.1, but I'm gonna give it a 5.
Can't give
I
it a
really.
5.1.
You can't go over 5.
Oh my god.
Pick a number 1 through 10.
That's
11.
over 5. Wait a
11.
minute.
Oh, there. That's what I thought.
Wow. So he always goes on. You know, 5
No,
was
I would
pretty
give it a.
good,
I would
Jack.
give it a 5-star. I definitely
Yeah.
would give it a 5-star. That's. It had enough,
Now, what would
just enough action,
what would you
just
give
enough
Infinity
drama.
War?
Infinity War about 4.5.
Now, didn't he say in the beginning that he liked Infinity War?
I
better?
liked
Did he-
Infinity War
he just
better.
So then
but
how can you give it a lower score if you like it better? Your logic doesn't compute.
it was before I had
So
all of
contradictory.
this chocolate?
Wait,
Oh,
we're-
okay,
He's
okay,
eating
okay.
these raisins.
All right,
That
What kind of
Raisinets.
distorted his
Yeah,
mind?
there's no
Just-
product placement in this show.
That
Get some
makes sense.
Raisinets.
That makes sense.
Unless
chocolate.
Raisinets wants to
I'm
sponsor.
blaming it on the chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's distorted his
Right.
mind a little
Don't
bit.
get me started now.
All right.
Star Trek 5 will come up in here somewhere.
Oh shit.
Oh wow! Don't want
All right,
that.
4.5 for the first one, 5-star for the second one.
All right.
All right.
And I'm not changing my mind.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Tina, what's your rating if you got 5 stars to choose from?
I give it a 4.
4.
Yeah. I really liked it, but I liked it better, good enough to give it a 5. So I liked it because I liked the other one better.
Yeah.
You did see the Infinity
The
War?
one before it, yeah.
Oh.
All right. So I gave Infinity War a 5. I would probably give this one barely a 4. I don't think it's quite worth a 3.75.
7.5. We're doing quarters.
Wow.
3 3/4.
What?
Damn. I didn't know we were doing
What?
quarters.
I was saying
That's right.
Did he?
But I
give it
don't-
I give it 4.2 and
I'm
a
gonna
half.
change my
3
mind.
cents.
I'm gonna change to a
4.795.
4.795 then. Shoot. Shoot.
But-
We being all technical.
Yeah.
Listen, I get down to decimal points.
4.795.
I know.
To the
Oh,
nitty gritty.
wow, exactly.
All
And
right.
3/4.
So, yeah, I didn't think it was. There's enough stuff that annoyed me about it that kind of lowers the score. But I think overall the movie's entertaining, even plot holes and annoyances aside. And it still wraps up the first story good enough. So, but if you compare it to Infinity War, it doesn't measure up
Yeah,
to the first one. Like the pacing is so much better in Infinity War versus Endgame that it Infinity War is almost the same length as Endgame, but it doesn't even remotely feel like it.
Yeah.
It just breezes by.
I can tell you why. Because of all of the different time changes in there.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Infinity
Maybe
War
she
has
cut
a
out 1 or
brisker
2 maybe.
plot.
So what's your point? What's your points again on Infinity War and Endgame?
3.75.
Yeah, well, I would say
3
3.75 for
Endgame.
Endgame, and I would go 5 for Infinity War.
Infinity War. Can we change ours? Because I want to do a point thing now.
Oh,
Sure,
No, I'm
go
just
for it.
joking. I'm just joking.
yeah. The movie was good. I
Yeah.
gave the movie.
But overall, I like the movie. I wouldn't
mo-
say it's
yeah.
perfect, but it's got its flaws, but it works for what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
It did. It did.
I mean, what movie's perfect? There's no such thing as perfection.
Yes, there is. If
No,
you
there
s-
is
there is.
not.
Have you seen Logan? That's a perfect
Forget
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
Logan.
that's
What
what I
about Gone
wanna
with the
see.
Wind?
I want to see Gone with the Wind.
You guys ain't seen that one?
Hey, nobody's gonna be watching this. Gonna know what that is.
Gone with
Is
the
that
Wind.
the one about people farting? Gone with the Wind?
That's like a 60s or 50s movie.
That's a
Yeah, it's
terrible
old.
Frankly, Marvel, I don't give a damn.
Exactly. Nobody gives a damn about Gone with the Wind.
Exactly.
shit. Well, nobody want that.
And her
Watch
name
this,
was
this anyway.
I think. Her name was,
Woo!
I think her name was Charlotte, wasn't it? Frankly,
Scarlet.
Oh no.
Scarlet.
I don't
Scarlett
Scarlett.
Johannesburg.
Anyway, it was a good
Scarlett
movie.
Johansson.
Nobody know
Johannesburg.
that but him.
Scarlet. Frankly, Scarlet.
But thanks for coming, guys.
Yes,
We really
we'll try to
appreciate
put
it.
some more stuff out hopefully this weekend. While
And
while we
thanks
got
for
Tina down.
listening.
Yes, thanks for watching, everybody.
And thanks for listening. If you haven't seen the movie, please go see it.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right. Go see
And
it.
and then let us know what you think about the movie in the comments section below. Make sure you get into a good fight. That's the best thing to do in the comment section. Get into a good argument with somebody.
With a total
Hey,
stranger.
With a total stranger.
Threaten their family.
I got a question. Are you guys
And if-
recording this?
Yes.
No.
What?
And if you're a person that really pays attention to detail, try to watch the movie maybe from 11 p.m. After that way you won't have kids in the movie distracting you.
Watch it by yourself.
Exactly. Try to go at midnight where kids should be in the bed. That way you can really pay attention and really understand it. Cause
And maybe use some illicit substances before you
Yeah,
go. If you're in
exactly.
Colorado, you might
Get
want
a
to,
special brownie or
yeah,
something.
get some edibles
Yeah.
before you
That's
go.
a
Or wait till
Yeah,
after
some edibles.
January 1st and you're in Illinois.
wow.
You know, Illinois passed it.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
I wouldn't know.
Effective January 1st.
All right.
So anyway,
I'm
we
glad you're
moved
keeping
away.
track of that.
We moved away from that.
so as always, like, share, and subscribe to the Jack Wolf Show YouTube
Yeah.
channel for more good quality content like this.
Yay.
That's right.
Subscribe.
That's what I said.
Click the notifications button so you'll be notified every time our videos go up, even though it doesn't always work, but who gives a
Yeah, I
crap?
don't understand the
anyway.
difference between subscription and notification. What's the point of subscribing if you're not getting notifications?
Beats me. But
Yeah, I don't know.
anyway,
Answer me that, YouTube. Answer me that.
listen, don't call them out. They've already
Yeah, I'm saying they'd be to shut the channel
they've
down
already
really quick.
they're already mad at us.
Exactly.
I'm just asking a question. I'm not protesting in front of their building yet.
Yes.
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. Like, share, subscribe to the Jack Wolf Show channel. Tell all your friends. Make sure you share. That's the biggest thing. Share it with whoever you like, especially this video if you liked it. I think we had a good time making it.
That's right.
So yeah, just keep watching, and we will see you next time
On.
At the movies.
at the movies.
All right.
And don't forget about Casey Wilson's Tech Lab.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anybody got anything to plug? Yeah. Before we go, Casey Wilson's Tech Lab, Hater Dave Sports Show. Watch that too. And all the other stuff. List off.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Watch it all. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
They still waving.
Are we still recording?
Yes.